Thanks a lot, TSA.
Too many times I've gone to classes where hit a topic, practice it, do a couple runs, and then move on to the next thing.
Distance 315.
And you don't get the time to actually like experiment with that to see what you like about it or what you don't like about it.
On target.
Stand by for wind.
Ball range staff, tower's going hot again.
Left point 2. Back again.
One of the things that I really like is that you explain a technique or you explain a theory.
You pick the most prominent thing, could be like a dead tree or a certain style of bush or a clump of dirt. We're getting nice and low by going with the wide stance right here. And I want you to confirm that you don't have any cant into the system. Lining up on the target. Once I feel good right there, now I'm gonna bring my hand up.
You let us practice it, and then you gave everybody plenty of time to get that practice, so where everybody understood it.
For this class, ultimately you'll have plenty of reps. You get to draw your own conclusions at the end of it.
And that was one of the things I really took away from the class, man, and I really appreciate it as a student to be able to get in the reps to try out that thing that you just taught us, and whether or not I picked it up in the first 5 or 10 rounds, like, or, you know, if I needed more time, like, we got time to play with it.
My gun is to 450, it's a 150, and then the second I hit 500, it's a 100, and then at 550, it's an 80, and then it just kind of goes down the line, so you can map that out to max effective on it.
These are intense. That means that we can imagine an extra 0 there. So if I'm at 500, I'm gonna go to 5. That simulates 500. Minus what? We said that most of us are a 160 gun. So just come down 16 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Double check your data. Where you at? Most guys agree that it was a 160 gun. You guys should all be right about 3.4 for 500. That was it. I just used the turret like a fucking abacus.
Using the abacus on your turret, and 500, dial off 1.5. For a fast engagement, that's fucking game changing right there.
Never really learned to shoot with a rear bag the right way.
The next one we're talking about is gonna be the rear bag.
Just learning like just the different techniques and the different places where you can make error with that.
This is probably the most neglected yet paid attention to thing in our entire shop process.
Just understanding that better was very helpful.
Everybody understands the importance of it because it creates that level of stability. The problem is that it gets neglected when we start going through our trigger press and we're focusing on the reticle. A lot of times, and I was guilty of teaching this in the beginning until I really try to break this down through trigger cam, slow-mo videos, all that good stuff, is we'll take the bottom half of our hand, so like these 3 fingers right here, we'll push it on the bag to hold it, and then we'll put our thumb and our finger to pinch the frame of the rifle, right? The idea was is to anchor the two together. I'll tell you right now, it's gonna screw you up even more. Right? And again, I was guilty of teaching this in the beginning, and this is where we're at now on maintaining that consistency of recoil management and all that other stuff. So if you rest your thumb, if you have a hole and you rest your thumb in here like a little meat hook, or if it's solid and you have your thumb rested up here like so, you guys can all see this right here. If your thumb flinches, you're going to have left stringing. We have a micro flinch. And usually what ends up happening is our thumb pulses like this. Watch what happens to the muzzle if I push the thumb. Which way did it go? Left. So when you guys are zeroing and you guys see those like slight stringing to the left, 9 times out of 10, it's probably because your thumb is on the frame.
It's probably one of the least experienced shooters. I can appreciate the level at which you instruct at. You didn't make it overly complicated to where I couldn't understand it, but it was still inviting to where I felt like is part of the team with everybody else.
So once you guys are on target, there's going to be 2 different cadences that we're going to work with, and it's going to be based off of target distance, target availability, and target size. So at distance, it's going to be locked in like we've been talking about, and it's going to go 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5 1000, bang, 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 for a total of 5 shots. It'll be. Now, again, if it's a closer target, bigger target, you guys can pick up the pace where it's almost like a half second. So it's going to be 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. And it'll be 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. You guys got it? All right. So the first one, what I'm doing is going to be the 100 point blank 0. That's gonna just work for that 100 to the 300-ish zone without making any adjustments. So the other big thing, guys, is that you want to really mag out so you guys have the biggest field of view. So I'm holding pretty much right where the red meets the white. So it's gonna be, and then if you guys want to go with the faster one, it's gonna be. All right. Now we're going to the 200 at the car. So it should be pretty close to the same thing. I'm just going to favor it just above where the red meets the white. So I'm going to give it the first one to confirm the shot. Impact a little bit on the left side, follow it up. Alright, moving to the 300. Started off with 1 shot. And I'm going to be right on the shoulder line. There it is. Alright, following it up a little bit faster, locking in. Alright, and we're good to go. You guys see how that works? Impact. 1 shot. Impact. Left 2.
Yeah, I got a lot out of it, especially in regards to shooting at speed and distance with a carbine. I've done a lot of bolt gun shooting, and like the way I was able to run a gas gun, I've never been able to do that. Like I can hit targets, not at like rapid pace. Or like I had no issue hitting them, but at the rapid pace and being able to maintain it was truly incredible. Like from day 1 to now, like the only difference I saw in myself, and like the cam lock, proper setup, and all that going into it seems like it's simple, right? In the grand scheme of things, and I know a lot of people don't do it. And like I told you up there, man, it's like one of those things that if you're not doing it, I think you're doing it wrong now. It just works so well.
So I'll show the other methods. You have methods where, you know, you start with the buttstock really, really high up, and then you'll cinch down into it like so. So essentially you're creating this nice wedging motion. But the method that I go through is this cam locking method. So again, what it looks like, you get everything all nice and lined up, and what we're focusing on is down here. Now, what is moving at all times on our body? Our diaphragm area, right? So if we're connected and we're just naturally breathing and we're pushing off of the earth and everything, this reticle is going to be just jumping up and down and stuff like that until you get to that exhale, the natural respiratory pause, and then you go through your engagement and stuff like that. If you load the system with the pistol grip, which there's nothing moving in this hand and we use our palms and our hands all the time, you'd be surprised how much more control you can apply to the platform itself. So the way that looks is I'm going to essentially load the bipod by pushing forward, right? So I'm going to push forward, and then I'm going to drop the wrist down into like a cam locking position. What this does is it loads it forward and then anchors down.
There's a lot of people that'll talk about theory, and this maybe works for some people and not for others. Everything focused on this class was applicable, but then it got to the point where we were able to self-diagnose. And no, and the second you said anything, there was never any difference in, oh yeah, I am fucking that up. Where a lot of classes, it's very esoteric. I've taken classes before where I've learned nothing in 3 days, shot a bunch of rounds and wasted a bunch of ammo, or they'll have like excuses as to why performance isn't meeting the expectation of the class. You said very sometimes hard expectations, which I failed from time to time, but like all of it was very doable. But all of it's like I'm better at shooting now versus having just spent time, money, and energy to be here, which is like that from a skill standpoint, probably, if not the best class I've ever taken on a rifle, one of them by far.
Even after we shot about 1,000 rounds in 3 days, that is the marksmanship endurance that I'm talking about. That is the thing that I personally view as being one of the sexiest things with somebody who's getting into this game. How long can you actually maintain that high performance level of precision, right? It's not just a quick stage, it's not just, no. How long can you maintain that?